WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WeFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so the time here in SVG, it is 9:26, and we are back with you for another segment of our Activated Mornings program. This is the Talk to Us segment, and this is where you get interactive with us. Number to call is 457-9997. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can hit us up with your questions, your comments in relation to anything that we discussed, or anything that you wish to bring to our attention for discussion or just for us to be informed of. All right. So as per usual, we are giving you 10 seconds. So the number to call is 457-9997. And the 10 seconds start now. All right, so we have a caller. Good morning.
Yeah, the duck was very numb this time when I talked. He had nothing to say at all. But he didn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It's the first time I see him so numb. Because he normally interjects and he didn't even say nothing when I leave.
Doc, you here answer your own baptism.
Sorry, what did he say?
Let's not take a cotton with his pants down.
Who?
Huh?
Oh, no, I didn't.
I caught the duck with his pants down. He didn't have nothing to say about my last comment. He's numb about it.
The last comment?
Repeat, and maybe you could help to refresh Doc mind.
How about the prosecutor, the DPP of Trinidad?
Wait, one second, but you didn't, no, listen, I tell you something. I have always been wondering a little about you. And I got some good information that you really have an axe to grind, and that some things happened in the past. I didn't even know you were a UPM man, but
I was. I didn't know that.
You was?
If you know that, that's news to me.
All right, well, that's news. But you may not have heard me say that look at Trinidad, where in a place like that, there could be if it is true, as Dianna and so forth and the Roleza have feared, that there could be a conspiracy against a woman. You understand? And that basically these things could happen in that place. I thought you were praising the DPP and so forth in some regards, yes. But I could tell you some strange things that happen up in your country. You will see in another few days, Hash Patel, once he's confirmed, doing some rather remarkable things. And that's the great America that's there, the bastion of democracy. But, if you didn't hear me make any comments on it and I allowed it to pass, maybe sometimes you leave certain things to pass, but other things I think I did faintly comment on it. You may not have heard me or picked up on it. It may probably gone right over your ears.
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah, you heard me.
You just
heard me.
Spin.
My usual spin?
Doctor.
No. I didn't do no spin, I mean, I didn't do no spin, If I had to,
he did avoidance, not a spin.
If I thought you were saying that I avoided, but you're saying I spun. So you're acknowledging that I did respond. You know what I mean? Before you came out and said, "Boy, I didn't say anything at all. I avoided it." Now you're saying that I did spin. Well, I tell you something.
Queens, you're good over there.
One of these days, I'm going to reveal the information that I found out. But it's not relevant today.
Yeah, let we hope it's the correct information you receive.
Is it correct information? Listen, sometimes it doesn't matter if it's correct. In terms of the information that I have, I am convinced that it is correct. But it could only be correct if that person confirm it. You understand? So you don't absolutely know. So this is what we've been talking about. The commissioner of police in Trinidad. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
He's killing my treatment. Yeah, the guy.
No, we give you more. We give you back. We give you more.
Queens, this morning you provoked Doc, eh?
Yeah. He ain't provoked me. He came back and said I didn't respond when I did respond. But he said it's spin.
Queens, go ahead with the next point.
Yeah, the knowledge of the person that call afterwards is a former police prosecutor or the Manjumo program and all that. But quickly, you were saying Beyonce, you're a fan of Beyonce. You ever get a chance? I know you travel all over the world. You ever got a chance to see her perform live?
No. I tell you something. I saw Destiny's Child perform, but I didn't see. Me too. Yes, but I didn't see. That was long ago. But let me tell you, long ago, in the early days, somebody blessed me. Somebody blessed me with a ticket. But I don't want people to think I travel all over the world going.
Well, clearly, when he said all over the world, Dianna and I kept quiet because we know it wasn't us.
You see, that was the little innuendo that if I left, could go down. People think I travel on important business, I don't travel in order to
travel on important business and travel in all the world is still traveling.
That might even be better.
Let's not go down semantics right about now. All right.
Let me tell you something. You may travel the world, but you have not traveled the world to go and see Beyonce. That's what the point I'm making. You understand? That's what I'm trying to emphasize.
You're not travel. People that travel from places. People go to Brazil. People could travel all over the world to see artists, but you could just happen to be in a place at a time where she's performing. Like I was in Trinidad a couple years ago, and I went to see her at the Queen's Park Savannah. But I've seen her a couple of times here also.
Yes. I haven't had those. I haven't had those privileges. So somebody took me out for birthday and so forth, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful as a birthday present. Other than that, I would not have.
All right, let me give somebody a chance to get.
All right, Queens. Thank you very much. All right. All right, so we have somebody else calling. All right, Doc's favorite people this morning. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my lovely lady. Good morning to the brightest guy, one of the brightest guys this country has ever produced, Dr. Gerald Thompson.
And I hope that you're saying this with all genuineness in your voice.
Well, if I don't say
I'm hoping that there's no sarcasm at all in that statement.
If I don't say so, ask the Prime Minister. I'm just saying what the Prime Minister has to say, right? That is the greatest leader in the Caribbean, right? So I'm just chopping it up nicely. But Gerald is a guy I know from way back when, and sometimes I'm disappointed when he says certain things. And that's true. So Dianna, how are you doing? I wake up with Dianna on my mind, and I am tempted to say, Dianna, I want you to dance with me another time. There's that song from Winston So. I just love that tune. And I just got up with she on the mind, like I was dreaming about her. I don't, I'm not really sure. But anyhow, that isn't me.
Moving along.
Yeah. Trinidad.
It's okay. It's okay to have those kind of dreams. I'm telling you, as a medical doctor, it's good to have those kind of dreams.
Is it good to have the dreams and divulge on radio?
But you know something? I am glad he said that. I hope he never says that. Oh, I wake up thinking about you, Dr. Thompson, because I'm a man's man, and I wouldn't want to hear that. So Dianna,
don't take away my time. Let me talk to man, and you got all the time for talk. Come on.
Talk to Dianna. Talk to Dianna.
He's speaking to us.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I love her so. Yeah, remind them I'm talking to everybody. Yeah. But you see, You see, I love my country. I love this.
As you
I love my
should.
country, and that's why the passion has to come out when I speak. Sometimes I want to die, and as the Christians say, I want to die and know I'm going to heaven. I don't want to have no enemies, but I can't stop that. Could I? I don't want to have no enemies because it's just when you make certain pronouncements or you say certain things, people get to hate you for what you know. I'm not a known I'm not a known anybody that caused mischief and what I'm not a criminal. Put it that way. But I hear you always talking about Trinidad in that light too. At one time, for Dianna and Roleza, Trinidad and Tobago, quoting the Prime Minister there, the late great Dr. You guys too young to know about Dave Elcock. And I always remember the theme song, David Elcock in the morning. That was his thing. And he later joined up with a Vincentian born, who I know, Phil Simmons. And he had this thing, Phil the Trill from Laventille. Anyhow, that's just a historical piece because you guys don't know about them. So Trinidad and Tobago, I follow them from way back when, with their greatest murderer criminal, if I could use that, the greatest notorious and all of that. His name was Boise Singh. I had 2 books that I read on Boise Singh. Then you had people like Mano Benjamin. You had people like the Dole brothers. Then you had the Malik Abdul Malik. You read about these guys, and you know the books are still around, and you will appreciate the kind of heinous crime that you had in Trinidad and Tobago. Vincentians. I have an uncle who went to Trinidad to live. Went to look for work. He never returned to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He died in nearly 100 years old. So I have a strong connection and all of that where Trinidad and Tobago is concerned. I have a cousin. She's still alive. She retired now from UE. She used to meet all the students. What they call her? She was a human something. I can't remember her position, but she retired now. And whenever she met Vincentians, she was glad to identify and go out the way to help them and so on, entering St. Augustine and all that stuff. So people must not underestimate people. We have important people throughout the Caribbean, hold on top positions. But here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a different kettle of fish. Somebody did make a calypso here some years. Mighty Sheller, name just come. St. Vincent is a foreigner's paradise. And I say all of this because sometimes you have to teach some people, you have to educate people, inform them about the history of Vincentians. We have people go to Trinidad and become national heroes. What's the name of that woman again? Dr. Thompson should know this in his historical whatever he knows, So I am saying this to boost up my Vincentian people. And so when you see stupidness going on in my country, I have to talk.
All
because
right.
we are great people. We are a great people.
Okay.
Women and men.
All right. Thanks, Dave. All right.
All right.
All right. Any comments with regards to what Dave said?
He's correct when we say we are great people. We have great people here. I don't really understand what he's connecting, what he's really saying, that Vincentians only do well when they go elsewhere. I go to Trinidad and he knows a 1 or 2 who've done well. No, I think that there's some wonderful Vincentians right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines because he said that because we're great people. So it's a kind of double message just coming across. Same way Trump would say, make America great again, get rid of this, send everybody back and all that kind of thing. It's fine. I mean, we basically do have some great people here. I'm not sure where Dave is really. I think he's a bit confused there, Mike.
Any thoughts, Dianna?
No comments.
Okay. Yeah, I just suppose though it's the recognition because again we have national heroes. They're coming up in match again, and that whole question of do we still only have this one national hero, right? And what also pains me is the fact that posthumously persons are given awards or persons are recognized, but how many times do we bestow the flowers upon them when they're alive?
Correct.
How many persons know the role that they've played, whether it's in the life of an individual, the community, the nation by extension? Do they know? So yes, we have great persons. We have persons putting in the work, but how many of these persons? And I'm not saying this to say that persons are doing things or should only do things for the acknowledgement, but we also need to let people know while they still have life, what it is that they're doing as to help to build the nation. And I think that is what is my problem.
I think we do that to some degree.
From a national standpoint, I'm not talking about from an organization, but from a national standpoint.
Our cultural ambassadors, our sports ambassadors, a number of people have been named and so forth. But with each individual, there'll be people who say Gerald Thompson is a nice guy. And the people say Dr. Gerald Thompson is the worst person out. And that's why, in terms of national heroes, we do them when some a bit more posthumously. Gary Sobers once was named as a national hero, but then a few weeks after being there, he was found driving whilst intoxicated and drunk and so forth. And there's a thinking that people could end up spoiling their name. There'll be an ex-wife or then somebody who will come out and say something terrible about them.
You see,
and it takes away that whole process.
I could appreciate maybe in the context of national hero in terms of doing it when the person is died, just in case there's a stain on that individual while they are alive. But what about just a national recognition? We could have it termed as something as not necessarily as a national hero. And for me, it should be something that's done on an annual basis.
We went through the constitutional reform issue and was coming up with the new awards instead of people being knighted and people that we were doing. Now we still do those recognition as part of the British concept. So people are knighted. I was up there when Sir Cecil Cyrus was knighted. Yes, and that is a national recognition, but through England. But I still think that the cultural ambassador, sports ambassador is another thing. But I think what you're saying is that we should set up those other awards in parallel to the knighthood aspect. I think that there is, I don't know if it's one or the other. I don't know if it's one or the other. So you may not disagree with the OBE and the MBE and the dames and so forth, but that is what we have. But maybe it's that we look down on those things a little bit because they're from England. And that if there was things that were our own homegrown, maybe we'd have greater respect for them. The constitutional reform was one way of getting that aspect changed.
But do we have to wait for a constitutional reform for something on a national level, such as awards?
A whole structure was set up. And the whole thing is that which ones do you do? It's an alternative kind of thing. Do you recommend somebody for an MBE and an OBE and so forth and all these sort of things? Or do you get an MBE and still another national award so that they are straddling both tracks? I wonder if you understand what I'm saying. The system over the years is that because our monarch, our head is still the king and queen and so forth, that we've given those particular awards. And I remember René Batiste work tirelessly. We came up with a whole new structure of that, and I loved it. But it was expected that as constitutional reform went through, that would be what would put in place. If not, you will have a dual system that has to negate one versus the other. You have to say you're no longer giving an MBE and an OBE and a knighthood and so forth. So
is it that? So that's the only other option for us to give national awards?
Well, you tell me. You tell me the national.
I didn't even know the Constitution came into play with this.
Well, at the national, it would have followed that. Basically, that would have, because we would have now had a different head of state that would have been able to sign, and so this the national awards and so forth with that particular thing. I could be wrong, but whether you could do a parallel track and somebody says, I want a national award, I don't want the MBE, or I want the MBE and national award, or I can have both. Give me MBE as well as a national award. You know what I mean? I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is interesting to me because I honestly thought it's just something that we could have done on our own independently. So
yeah, I'll tell you something, a whole new structure. I remember Rene Batiste's team worked on this. It was 2003, 2004, and came up with a whole new structure. They had to go. I remember seeing the medals and so forth, the awards and so forth. They were very beautiful. They were very culturalized. They were oriented to our kind of society, but they did not really follow through because of the structure. And there'll be some person, you ask them, do you want an MBE or you want a national award? There's some persons who may well want to choose one or the other based on their own culturalization. And so there would have to be, in my view, you have to do one and not the other.
Okay, this is interesting. I have legit learned something new today. So
somebody has a question to the doc. What is the purpose of an MBE celebrating a non-existing empire? Okay, that's
I agree with you. I should have asked that question. I thank you very much. The person's asking me that, but we chose to keep our head of state as the Queen. A number of people who favored England.
Doc, you're talking because persons didn't vote for the referendum?
No, I'm saying that would have changed the head of state.
Okay, this referendum talk will be for another day. But,
yes, I know. Another day, but we can't back out of it. We can't back into it.
You see, my whole problem, and I promise, why am I even waiting for this? But anyways.
The problem with the referendum, or the good thing,
too many things were lumped together with it. That's all I was saying on that point.
But guess what? To have a 2/3 vote on every single thing.
Too many things were lumped together, Doc. Too many things were lumped together.
But the point is that to have a 2/3 vote on so many things individually, you couldn't do an executive order like Trump and say, well, this is passed and that is passed and that is passed and that is passed. It needed, if we have, so you tinker with the Constitution, you change one line. The Constitution ain't really changed. You've only changed that. Then another year, you change another one. And then another year you change another one because you have to go 2/3 referendum on all of them.
I get you, but I don't necessarily like hearing the out where because they didn't vote for the referendum means that this and that did not change, right? But we're not getting into it today, Doc. We're not.
We should do the executive. Prime Minister should do an executive order to change it.
We're not getting into it.
Yes, sir.
Doc is not going to rope me. He's not going to rope me.
Executive order. We need executive order. Trumpian executive orders here in St. Vincent. That's what we need.
All right. So
let me tell you something. Let me take that back. I don't agree with those Trumpian executive orders. Let me say that way. Let me backtrack.
Okay. You good now?
I'm good.
You released everything? Everything off now?
No, I haven't released everything, but the time is up.
All right.
You know?
All right.
You want to give me the time?
No. We done. All right. So it is now 9:49 and we're going to head straight into